So when you're using a close grip doing your upright rows, what happens? You pinch your traps back together. So that takes away some of the stress on the deltoids. What's up guys, it is Joseph Rakic here from josephrakicfitness.com, and today in this video I'm going to show you 3 reasons why your shoulders are not growing. Reason number 1 why your shoulders are most likely not going is because you're not hitting all 3 heads of your shoulders. Now the shoulders are made up of 3 main muscle heads. There's your anterior deltoids, which is your front delts, your lateral deltoids, which is the side of your deltoids, and there's also your posterior deltoids, which are your rear delts at the back of your shoulder. So there's 3 different heads in the muscle. Now a lot of people, when they train their shoulders, they just focus on the pressing movements, and their lateral delts and their posterior delts don't get worked as much, therefore they don't get optimal shoulder growth. So I'm just going to show you quick and easy 3 exercises that'll work all 3 heads. So first exercise to really put focus on the front delts is seated front delt raise. So what you want to do, you want to sit down on a bench seat. Now using your front deltoids, you're going to lift the weight straight up in front of you and back down. So that right there is using the front deltoid to lift the weight up. Now an exercise for the lateral delt, which is the middle head, is going to be seated side raises. So holding the dumbbells to your side once again and just lifting it straight up to the side like that. Third, the bent over rear delt flies is going to be working the back of your shoulders, which is your posterior delts. So you want to sit on the edge of the seat, you want to lean right the way over, connect the dumbbells underneath. Now using the back of your shoulders, you want to lift the weight right the way up. So that right there guys is why most people are not getting optimal shoulder growth, because they're not directly hitting all 3 heads. Alright, reason number 2 why your shoulders are not growing is because you're not applying stress overload. A lot of people, when they come in the gym and they're training their shoulders, all they focus on is weight, weight, weight. So they're trying to overload their shoulders with weight. Now, for a muscle to grow, you need to overload it progressively, and that can be in any way or form. It can be weight overload, it can be repetition overload, it can be time and attention overload, or it can be stress overload. One of the most common problems I see people not doing is not applying that stress overload to the muscle. So for example, they'll do some dumbbell press. They'll pick up a heavy weight, and what they'll do is they'll go right the way down, press it up, back down, press it up, back down. So they're using a heavy weight, and all they're doing, they're focusing as much energy as they can to get the weight up, and as soon as they got the weight up here, they lock out, their elbows lock out, and it takes the stress and it takes the tension off the muscle. So yes, you're applying weight overload, but you're not really hitting the muscle from a form of stress overload. So here's a technique that I want to share with you guys to really apply stress overload to the muscle, which will result in more muscle fibers ripped, therefore leading to more muscle growth, providing that you die at some point. So a great way to apply stress overload is partial range of motion. So instead of using a full range of motion, I'm going to start right here, only press up to there. So that right there is just constantly keeping that stress on the muscle, and the more stress we can keep on the muscle, the more chance for muscle growth you're going to get. So definitely give that a go if you're not applying stress overload to your muscle. Alright guys, reason number 3 why your traps are not growing is because you're pinching your traps when you're trying to work your deltoids. So a very common problem And what I mean by that is you're using your traps instead of your deltoids to lift the weight up. Now, I'll show you an example of a dumbbell lateral raise. A lot of people, when they're in the gym, they end up pulling their traps back, pinching it back like this, and shrugging it like this. So yes, sure, your shoulders are being worked, but your traps are doing a lot of that lifting. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're not pinching your traps. Keep your traps drop down low and just use your deltoids to lift the weight. So really focus on not pinching your traps back, because when you do pinch the traps back, all you're doing is deactivating the shoulders, therefore placing more stress on your traps and less on your shoulders, which you're trying to grow. Another way where people pinch their traps is when they're doing upright rows. Now, upright rows is a great exercise to really build that roundness in your shoulders. A lot of people, they use a close grip when they're doing the upright rows. So when you're using a close grip doing your upright rows, what happens? You pinch your traps back together. So that takes away some of the stress on the deltoids. So the technique that I like to use when doing my upright rows is to actually use a wide grip like this. Using a wide grip deactivates your traps, doesn't allow you to pinch your traps, and places all that stress onto your lateral deltoids. And there you go, guys. That is 3 reasons why your shoulders are not growing. So just to recap on what we did, reason number 1 why your delts are not growing is because you're not hitting all 3 delts in your shoulder. Your front delts, your anterior deltoids, your middle delts, your lateral deltoids, and your rear delts, which are your posterior deltoids. Hit all 3 heads in your shoulder and you'll get overall shoulder growth. Reason number 2 why your deltoids are not growing is because you're not applying stress overload. You're focusing too much on moving the weight, too much on weight overload. What you need to do is focus on stress overload, and a great way to apply stress overload is use partial range of motion. Reason number 3 why your delts are not growing is because you are pinching your traps when you're trying to work your deltoids. So you're using a close grip when you're doing your upright rows, or you're pinching your traps back when you're doing your lateral raises. Stop doing that and you'll be able to place more stress on the delts and remove that stress from the traps. Anyway, guys, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a few tips. Comment down below in the comment section what videos you want to see on my channel. I read the comments every time I put a new video up, so all that feedback helps me create better content for you. And don't forget, if you need help transforming your physique, whether it be building muscle or losing body fat, you can click the link in the description box down below for all my coaching services.